Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another night of KBBU Behind the Scenes. My name is Michelle Green. I am the founder of Kingdom Builders Business University. And if you are watching us for the first time, first go ahead and hit that subscribe button because you're going to want to continue to stay connected to us. We have a business school where we teach entrepreneurs everything about business. We have four main courses, and they are business setup, where we teach you how to set your company up right. We teach you how to get your contract agreements in place and your licensing and your insurance, your copyrights, your trademarks, making sure that you have all of your taxes together. Then we have another course, which is our money, credit, and funding. In the money, credit, and funding course, what do? We help you to establish making sure you have the right business bank account, making sure that you have not just the right money trail, but also the right systems to process your cards through. We teach you how to get in position for funding, and we teach you how to put yourself in position for being able to gain business credibility with the lenders and grantors that will give you the millions of dollars. Okay. Now, not only do we do that, but in addition to the money and credit and funding course, we help you with managing your organization. So we teach you the life skills, how to balance your life and your business, in addition to marketing, media, and sales. Now, going back to that management piece, what we do is we help you with not just managing your organization, but teaching you how to set up HR and payroll and bookkeeping and all of the things that you need as a system in order for you to manage your company and continue to be able to leave that legacy that you've been thinking about and dreaming about. Okay. Now, in addition to that, we have the marketing and media that is taught by our amazing Dr. Tina J. Ramsey and our Coach Yoshi, we're going to give him a shout out for being under the weather today. We want to just send up some prayers for him today because he's under the weather, but we want to definitely give a shout out to our sales coach, Coach Yoshi, and Dr. Tina in our marketing and media course that we have at KBBU. So listen, tonight we come on every Wednesday. Normally we will be in class, but class is already graduated. But tonight and every Wednesday from 9:30 until we get finished, we come on to share with you the life skills of being an entrepreneur. So if you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, if you already are an entrepreneur, if you've been in business for years upon years, listen, what we want to do is make sure that you chime in every Wednesday by clicking that notification button, by making sure that you are joining us for the different topics that we can help you in being a better business owner. So this is KBBU Behind the Scenes. Hello. So listen, let's go ahead and bring in a couple. Tonight's topic is about, hello everybody. Hey. I can't hear y'all. Hey. I think y'all are
muted.
Hey. Hey, welcome. Dr. Tina J. Ramsey, and we have our coach Cornell Lyons, and we also have our coach Preston Johnson in the house tonight. So we have three coaches in addition to myself to talk about how is your attitude in business. So what are some of the things that come to mind when we think about the attitude that we have as a business owner? Let's talk about it. So I'm going to go ladies first. Dr. Tina J. Ramsey, what would you have to say about this subject matter?
Ooh-wee. You want me to talk about attitude?
Attitude.
I'm going to be 1000% transparent. I'm going to speak from you being a business owner, and then you have a situation where a client may say something or a potential prospect might say something that may rub you the wrong way. Should you A, They say something to you, and then you think of a snappy way to be able to snatch them, put them all together? Or should you do B, pause, think, and then wait until and say a prayer and wait before you respond? But if you agree, just go ahead and type whatever you want to type out and put it out on social media. You should do B. And I know as business owners, especially when you know you're not wrong and someone is saying something that is not true, you want to react. It's just a natural thing that you want to be able to say, that's not true. But when you are a business owner, you need to think about how that looks to the outside. Okay, everybody knows. People don't know the behind the scenes like this show is all about what happened behind the scenes. They only know what you present on social media. They only know what you present, whether you go live and talk about it. They only know, they only know what they see. They don't know all the nuances. So you need to make sure and keep in mind that every time you should you allow your attitude to mess you up for future business? Because guess what? Grantors, investors, and also prospect clients, they look at the social media, they look at what you do, they look at how you react, even when you are justified to say and do something. But how do you respond? Do you still remain professional? And so that part of attitude, I think, as business owners, as you grow, as you scale, you're gonna face that maybe more than one time, and you need to prepare yourself now to respond. If you do respond in a professional way. And if you choose not to respond, like I learned even this week, sometimes the best response is no response at all, your silence. And you're going to have to learn to administer that good old thing in the word called self-control. And so allow your attitude to work you out of your own blessing.
Wow.
At the end of the day.
Wow.
That's what I think about when I think about that good old attitude, honey. That attitude can get you in trouble.
How is your attitude in business? Thank you, Dr. Tina J. Ramsey. That is amazing. And it is so true. So many of us as business owners, we don't really think about our personality. We don't think about what kind of solid character traits, values, morals that we are supposed to have. And are we showing that in front of the camera and behind the scenes? Are we showing that every day as we go through the different transactions with our customers, with our clients, with our students? How are we in the work environment? Come on through, Coach Cornell, if you can bring us to the table on this subject matter. How is the attitude? What comes to mind for you when it comes to the attitude of a person as a business owner?
Well, as a business owner, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. As a business owner, you gotta have that customer is always right thing going on, even though you know inside of your head that they're wrong about the situations. Now, some customers you're gonna have to let go and let God. Some you're gonna have to lose out on, but you always gotta have that positive attitude, because who knows? They may remember, like, they may get saved or something, and then they like, hey, Cornell, man, he was really trying to talk to me, and he talked to me nice and everything. You know what? I did him wrong. I have to repent sometimes, and I have to go back and say I'm sorry. Because he did have some nice items in his store or online. And also, you as an owner, you have to sometimes practice this stuff. You got to practice on having a rude customer. Get your kid or something in front of you, and you got to practice, because sometimes things happen that you can't control, but you can control the situation. You know what I'm saying? If you practice on it. Okay,
Yeah.
because you can lose customers in person and you can lose person online. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you go, yeah, I mean, if you're talking to a person wrong, then they're gonna like, hey, you know what? They ain't got to deal with you. And they're gonna tell their friends, and it's gonna hurt you a little. But on a wider
Ouch.
span, like online, ooh, it could definitely hurt you. If they respond like, hey, don't go to this guy's shop. Don't trust him. He treated me like doo doo. You sometimes you gotta think about that because what I've learned about the media is that they'll eat it up. They'll eat it up. Some just don't look in between the lines because they don't know me. They just look at the word and like they don't try to decipher it. They're like, well, I don't hear his side of the story. They just gonna eat it up, and you can lose a lot of customers like that. So
Wow.
those things right there, you gotta think about. You gotta deal with. You gotta practice on. You gotta practice on your attitude because if you don't, man, that could be a grave mistake.
A grave mistake. That is so true. So true, Coach Cornell. Come on through. I like that. Don't be getting treated like doo doo. I hear you. I hear you. Oh my God, I love that. Okay. All right, now coming on around the table, let's hear from our coach Preston. What is your perspective on how is your attitude in business? Are you able to unmute and share your perspective, Preston?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hey, everybody.
Yeah. Hey, we
All right,
can hear
I'm
you
I'm
loud
driving
and
right. I'm
clear.
driving right now because I'm going to pick up the youngster from her new job. But I'm gonna piggyback off what Cornell said and take the alley oop pass from Dr. Tina. Sometimes you can have lasting memories. It could be a lasting memory of an amazing experience with a client, or it could be a lasting memory of a person you never want to do business with ever again. So it works both
Woo.
ways. It works both ways. And then you can say the customer's always right. Sometimes the customer can walk right out of my establishment. You're absolutely right. They sure can, right? You have to be, you got to remember that the customer got to remember that although you're a businessman, you're an entrepreneur, you're a businesswoman, you're still a person, right? Customer service goes both ways. You want me to treat you with that dignity, that respect, and give you that first class service, you need to be a first class client, all right? I have
Mm.
seen, I'm gonna give you a good example. I was the client, and I was a young man. I was a young Thundercat. That's what I can say. I went to get a car, and I was talking to the loan officer. You said, I think, Dr. T, you said something earlier about the grantors and everything, right? Well, the loan officer was talking to me, and we having a pleasant conversation. And she said I reminded her of her son. She dropped my percentage, my
Oh.
APR, like 2% just off that conversation,
Oh.
right? You see what I'm
Wow.
getting at? So
Yes.
everything is relative. You got to go in and you got to be a gracious client if you want somebody to be a gracious host. So the attitude, it reflects that, you know?
Wow. Thank you, Coach Preston. I love it. I love it. Okay, we're getting two snaps in a circle. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Awesome, awesome. So all of these ideas are definitely things that come to mind when we think about our attitude as a business owner in business. But some of the things that I want to bring to our attention today, tonight, whenever you're watching, is some topics around our character that we can really stand to change. Some things that, like Preston is talking about, things that also are coming from a good perspective, a positive perspective, but we also have sometimes issues with our attitude where we might be just overworked and feel like we're underpaid. Maybe that client didn't actually come through with that payment, or that sale didn't close the way that you thought it would. And we tend to kind of get into our own personal mindset and thinking that it's just about our own world. So tonight I would like to bring to the attention of the business owners. If you're a business owner, you want to think about how is your attitude at all times and what is impacting your attitude. So number one, let's think about pride over servanthood. Mm. How prideful are we over serving the people? As a business owner, one of the things that I love to do is help people. I always want to educate people on something that they don't know. I always want to help them in a way. If I have experience in an area, I always want to lend an extended hand to their life to make their life better. But when it comes to being a business owner, that's not always every day of how we perceive things. Sometimes we can have the mindset that, okay, well, I've already been there and done that, and I don't need to serve anymore. Just because we arise to a new level in our business, just because we might make some extra zeros behind our name, does not mean that we are to take on the mindset of pride that we are better than someone or that we are greater than someone because we make more money, because our lifestyle is different, or because we started at the bottom and we rose to the top, but now we don't have to do the same things that we used to do. So our attitude in business tends to lean toward an arrogance or a mindset of pride over servanthood, over being able to be a person who still can provide a service, but just from a different position. So, how is your attitude as it relates to you going to the top, you going to another level, for you to be expanded in your finances, for you to be expanded in your business, going global, going national, or even for you to be locally known, whereas nobody knew who you were before? How is your attitude? Does it stink or does it smell good? Okay. What is the aroma of your attitude as you go up the ladder? Are you the kind of person that's waiting for yourself to go up the ladder so that you can frown upon people? Do you have the mindset that you're more important, that you're greater than anybody else? Or do you keep the mindset of servanthood, the mindset of providing a service and helping people and really focusing on your particular skill, gift, or talent? So when we think about our attitude in business, we really need to go back to the servanthood mindset. We got to go back to the servanthood mindset because that's really the key foundation of every single business. Being a solution instead of focusing on how people make you feel, what people think about you, and what you even think about yourself. Because pride can be a killer and destroy a company in a heartbeat. Okay, so that's one thing I want y'all to think about tonight. Another thing that we want to look at is being dishonest in our deals. How truthful are we in our transactions with our clients? Are we telling them that they overpaid for a service? Are we telling them that they need to make sure that they take care of an invoice? Are we the kind of person as a business owner having the attitude that, okay, well, I don't need to remind them about what they need to take care of? Or are we actually kind hearted where we are honest about whatever the situation is with our client? And not just with our clients, but also with our staff. If you have people that work underneath you or in your organization, I wouldn't even say underneath you. I would just say people who are a part of your company. If you have employees, independent contractors, volunteers, or interns, what is the honesty level of every person that is in your company? How well do they follow suit with the honesty that you give as a leader? Are you lying about your status? Are you lying about things that are happening in the actual organization to make people feel like that they have arrived or to make someone seem like they are better than another individual? Are you lying about the kind of clients that you have? Do you actually have the type of people apart that are paying for your service or your product? Or are you just sitting there like, I'm just going to continue to fake it till I make it? And I'm going to be completely dishonest with the people who work for me, for the people who are a part of my company, for the people who are clients, even. I'm going to show this image and I'm going to be dishonest about what I'm doing with their money and how I'm providing that service or that product back to them. That's something that we got to think about. Do we have an attitude of lying? Ooh, it's hard tonight, but it's right. Okay, okay, it's hard tonight, but it's right. Then we have the exploitation of our people. The exploitation. Do we sit around with an attitude of waiting to have a gossiping conversation about the people who we work with, the people who are part of our clientele base? Do we sit around and wait for the opportunity for us to go to another friend of ours or someone that's a part of our company and talk about them like a dog and drag their name through the mud? What is our attitude towards the workers? What is our attitude towards the people who are in our organization that are trying to do the best that they can? You know, what is our attitude towards the people? See, a lot of times the reason why organizations fail, I know when I was in the workforce and I used to work at certain jobs, and I ain't gonna call no name, Verizon. But anywho, when I was working on the job, there were so many people with this exploitation of the people who work with the company. There was so many exploitation. Okay, well, this is going on in their personal life. This is happening with them, with their child, and this is happening with their husband or their wife. You know, it's the exploitation of the private business that is not supposed to be exposed to the public. If you have a leadership position of any kind, even if you're not a business owner, are you walking around gossiping and exploiting the people who work side by side with you? And what kind of environment do you think that's going to end up being? It's going to be an environment where morale is low, where the people don't even want to come to work for you. So you got to have a better attitude about you as a leader and what it is that you're doing to hurt people. So let's look at not exploiting our workers, not exploiting the people that are there to help our organizations to flourish. Okay, and then what about the mindset of the folks who don't have any time to rest? Are you a workaholic? Are you a workaholic? All right, I see you over there, Dr. Tina. So when we think about our attitude as a business owner, when do you take time to rest? You know, even God didn't work all 7 days that he created. So why is it that we have the mindset that as a person that's a business owner, we have to work 24 hours, 7 days a week. We can't get any rest. It's all about the hustle. Well, let me explain something to you. Hustle will get you right on into your grave a lot sooner. So we got to stop having the attitude or the mindset around the fact that we got to work all the time and we don't have time to socialize. We don't have time for family. We don't have time for friends. We don't have time for our parents, our children, our sisters, our brothers, our aunties, our uncles, our nieces, our nephews, our besties. We don't have time for anybody because the only thing that we got to do is work. Wrong attitude. It's not just about you making it to the top. You know, I was reading a scripture with my son last night, and it was saying that you should not be trying to break your back, trying to become rich. That you need to understand that money will take wings and fly away. Now, that's not exactly word for word what the scripture said, but I'm just paraphrasing. And what it means is basically don't spend your whole day, your whole life working and not resting, not taking time out for the things that are most important. So don't have an attitude of working and being a workaholic. Have an attitude as a business owner to take time out for the things that really are going to matter on your deathbed. Take time out for the things, I'm going to say that again, that will really matter at the end of your life when you're on your deathbed. Let's just pause for a minute because we really need to really consider that attitude. You are not a robot. You are not a machine. So let's change our attitude as a business owner. Then we talk about the actual self-reliance. You know, a lot of us have an attitude of not depending on anybody but ourselves. We have an attitude of just depending on self because we know that self is going to get it done, right? In addition to the workaholic, they go hand in hand. Let me tell you, they married. But the self-reliant attitude business owner is the type of person that feels like I can't get no help because ain't nobody worthy of doing what I do. Ain't nobody can do the things that I do. Well, guess what? When it comes to a self-reliant attitude, that self-reliant attitude is going to keep you a solopreneur, and a solopreneur cannot leave a legacy because ain't nobody else there to pass it on to. So when we think about this attitude of being a business owner, are you the type of person who believes that you can only get the job done? Is that why you haven't hired anybody? Is that why you don't trust anybody to do anything else? You know, my Bible says that you are not to put any trust in anyone but God. So if you put your trust in God and you begin to follow his lead, he's always going to have a generational opportunity for you to leave a legacy. Because he does not just focus on you as a person. So the self-reliant attitude has to go bye-bye. Has to go bye-bye. Okay, and then the last one that I want to talk about tonight is the favoritism attitude. So many of us in business, we have favoritism with our favorite clients. We have favoritism with our favorite person that's working a part of our staff and in our organization. We even have favorites with the people who we are working to provide and supply our companies. Okay, but when you have a favoritism attitude, and that means that you are not favoring every person in the same manner that everybody else is being favored. That means that somebody is missing out on something that you are supposed to offer. Ooh, so why do we have attitudes of favoritism? Because we feel like that maybe somebody has given us a little bit extra because we believe that somebody has gone the extra mile. I believe Preston was just talking about the fact that the lady reduced his interest rate because of favoritism, because she felt like that he was like her son. And so when we think about having an attitude in business, we got to think about this attitude of favoritism. Are we involved in nepotism where we are providing positions and pay and we're providing discounts and any kind of, advantages, privileges, or benefits to someone just because we like them better? Just because we think that they will be a better fit? As a business owner, we cannot afford to have favoritism, y'all. Now, I know that we all, who are believers are blessed and highly favored. We always say that. However, as a business owner, we need to think about how can we make it equal across the board? Because what if you were the one who missed out on the favoritism? How would that make you feel? All right, Dr. Tina, I know you got some thoughts swirling around over there and Coach Cornell. Let's hear from you guys on what we are talking about tonight, this attitude. What did you pull from what I just said, Dr. Tina?
We said a lot of good points. I wish I was writing notes. Um, favoritism. You also mentioned about. For me, I'm gonna speak. I only speak on stuff that I know about, and what I'm gonna speak about is the workaholic because
Woo!
I am a workaholic. So that hit me a little bit different because I've been raised to think not to be a workaholic, but to work hard, if that makes sense. And
Yes.
sometimes you can take that to the extreme. And I mean, I have a team, but but I'm just saying, For me, God has really been working with me about spending more time with family, spending more time with oneself, and most importantly, spending more time with Him. And learning, it takes just as much effort to not work all the time as it do to work all the time, because I have developed a habit of working so much that it's literally, I was like, when I first started pulling back from having these excessively long work days, I mean, literally, I'm shaking like I'm getting off of cigarettes or something. I'm like, oh, I'm literally over here having withdrawals. Like, oh, I got to type. I got to write a book. I'm like, and I'm just sitting there, just like shaking like a crazy. I said, I'm having withdrawals. I mean, from not working. And so my kids and my husband, my mom, my dad, they was like, come on over to the house. You know, we watching old school music. Oh, we had a good time too. Oh, yes, we had a good time. Going down the OJ's of Temptation, but that's a whole nother conversation. But we had a good time. Then with my children, we spending more time laughing and talking. With my husband, having some little date time. But I had to keep they had to keep me busy, because once I had that idle time, I don't like to be still. I feel like I'm wasting time. And so for me, I have to work on my attitude that being still, doing nothing is the assignment of the day.
Hello, I love it.
Okay, that's my assignment. And I'm not healed. Let me be clear. I ain't healed. I'm not healed.
Say I ain't delivered yet.
I'm not delivered. I'm still working on this. Okay, I'm still working on this. So the first part of when you see that, when you have an identity flaw, I would say something you need to work on, or an attitude flaw that you need to work on, you have to admit it. The hardest thing is to admit that you don't, or you can't, or you won't do X, Y, Z. And so for me, you know, this is actually therapeutic for me, just to say on live, yeah, hey, I'm a workaholic and I'm still working on it. But I can tell you this, it's getting a little bit more easy just to sit on my butt, just do nothing. I'm like, oh, this is feeling kind of good. But them first couple of weeks, hunty, shaking like this. So God's working on me on that. So I'm only gonna speak on what I either doing or I'm working on or have done. I'm not gonna speak on all that other stuff, because I pretty much can do that. I don't do the other stuff, but this is where my weakness is. I'm gonna speak on my weakness, not my strengths.
Ooh, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Yes. Awesome. All right, Coach Cornell, let's hear from you of what you took away from those key points that God dropped in my spirit tonight to talk about.
Well, I want to talk about this change. We're all human. We're all human beings. But the example I want to give you of change is, in order to become Christ-like or become saved, you have to change.
Ooh.
You know, change is for the better. That's in God and in business. You know, sometimes you're going to have to change in order to get what you want out of life through God and through business. The next one I want to talk about is the people that feel that, well, I'm above that. I don't have to go through this, you know. We had a lot of people that came through our class that had businesses for 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And they thought that they didn't have to take a lot of this stuff serious that we taught. But later on, they was asking us, please, I need some help. You know, it ain't nothing wrong with asking for help. You know, that's what we're here to do. But don't think you big in, you know, just because you've been in the business this long, you know, you still sometimes miss out on things that you learned in the beginning. So I want to hit on that. But then I want to go to the people that lies about stuff, that lies about
Oh,
say,
oh.
you know, hey, that stuff is stuff that sounds good. It sounds good and everything, but you know, a lot of times when you lie a lot, eventually gonna come to light.
Come on now.
And when it comes to light, it ain't gonna be good for you.
Woo!
Um, okay, this is one that I feel that is important. I really hark on this. To make it light on yourself, you got to make others dependable. You know what I'm saying? You got to make. You can't harp on one person just because this person a go getter. You got to make everybody dependable.
Ooh.
So this person, they won't be tired down and they won't be pulling their hair out their head. You know, you got to make other people dependable. And this favoritism, that attitude that you have with people that, it could be a worker, it could be um, someone out there, one of your vendors or whatnot. Man, you got to make everybody favorable. You got to, it's just stuff you got to work on. You can't make just one person favorable because some other people see this.
Yes. Come on now.
You know, it can be even a consumer. You Hey, you got to get that hard to everybody because these people you depend on. You depend on these people coming here, buying your product, and spreading it out there to others. You know, you got to make everybody favorable. Shell, you hit a bunch of things tonight. I wrote some notes, Dr. Tina.
Awesome.
But you know, I'm just saying you hit on a lot of stuff that makes a lot of sense. And you know, sometimes you gotta have common sense. You know, you ain't gotta have all book smarts. Just common sense to treat everybody favorable. You know, I don't treat one brother better than I do the other. You know, I don't treat one of my kids better than I do the other one.
All
Now,
right now. Come on.
sometimes I want to lean. Sometimes I want to lean, but you can't do that. You know, you gotta love all of them equally. You gotta, you say you never want to do things for kids when they become grown, but you know, I do for my kids because I want them to feel, that I appreciate them.
Yes.
Sometimes when I come into something, I like take them out to dinner, and all right, this envelope is for you. This envelope is for you.
Oh.
They look in and they like, oh my God, what am I doing with this is mine? Yeah. Sometimes when you hit into something, sometimes you gotta let somebody else be happy about the situation too. Now they're happy for me, but I'm more happy to see a smile on both of my son's face. They're good.
Oh.
They're good kids. Even though they're older, they're not kids. And a lot of people have, but the kids my eyes because I raised them when they was like this.
Oh, that is so good. So not showing favoritism,
Woo!
even in your personal life. I
Woo!
mean, dealing with not lying, cheating, stealing, killing, trying to pull wool over people's eyes, dealing with not being a workaholic and learning how to rest.
Yep.
I mean, it's just so many attitudes that we got to change and shift because as a business owner, we got to be able to last for the longevity of our lifetime. I mean, I want to be an old lady and still, I feel like I'm a young lady still, even though I'm in the 50s. But I want to make sure that as I get older, I want to be able to still give back. I can always talk and teach. I can always use my voice to be able to inspire somebody, encourage somebody. But what kind of attitude do we have about our future, about our present, and even about our past? Sometimes it takes us to take a reality checkup from the neck up to see what we used to be like, what kind of attitudes that we used to have, and how we have grown so that we can continue on that progressive upward spiral of growth. Sometimes that's what it takes. So thank you, Coach Cornell. Thank you, Dr. Tina J. Ramsey, for coming on tonight and talking about these topics of attitude around being a business owner. Yes, sir. What you got for me?
Well, don't forget to tell them about that thing you're giving back the seminar, the summit. Tell them about that. You and Doc.
You mean the Media and Wealth Summit?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. We are coming to the stage on October the 11th of 2025 from 11 to 6 at the River Center at Saluda Shows right here in Columbia, South Carolina. Y'all see Columbia in the background? That's right. That's our famous city, Columbia, South Carolina in the house. If y'all been sleeping on South Carolina, listen, it's time for you to wake up and know the truth. South Carolina is where it's at. I'm trying to tell y'all, it's some billionaires and millionaires that's coming from the state. So you better get in where you can fit in. On October the 11th, we are coming to you with the Media and Wealth Summit that is going to cater to every entrepreneur. If you're thinking about being an entrepreneur and you know that you got to be able to be seen and heard in the marketplace, then listen, you need to be at this event. If you are a person just thinking about as an individual, I don't know where all my money is going, I need for you to go ahead to Eventbrite right now and get your tickets and make sure that you get a VIP seat so I can look you dead in the eye and tell you exactly how to solve that problem, okay? This is the Media and Wealth Summit that Dr. Tina J. Ramsey and I are coming together, and we have some powerhouse speakers. Dr. Tina, I'm going to hand the mic over to you.
Yes, we have coming over on the media side, Dr. Michael Finkley. He is our branding expert. Yes, he's going to teach you how to start and build and scale your brand. He went from education all the way to being a national TV award-winning TV host. How did he do it? He did it by positioning himself with branding. Next, we have Dr. Nikki Ziegler. She is the visibility expert, because if you are not visible, you do not exist. I always love to say, if you're not Googleable, you don't exist. But visibility, if you don't know, is the new currency, okay? And then I'm coming in with the media side, teaching you about how you can position yourself in different forms of media, such as press releases, podcasts, TV shows, blogs, social media, and so forth, helping you to understand the why and, most importantly, the how, and why you should be doing this now and why it's essential. And then we have on the website that's coming all the way from KBBU, dealing with the wealth building strategies. We have the amazing Lee Williams, who is our wealth expert, that's going to teach you on a personal level how to build and accrue wealth for your family, and how to use the income that you currently have right now in order to do it. You don't have to go and find more money. He's going to teach you how to do it with the money that you already have. Then we have Dr. Mary Hancock. She is our grant expert, because once you get all these things and you are that business owner, the next thing you know, when you are a real business owner, you learn how to use other people's money to scale and grow your business, not just your money. You use other people's money. That is the key. And then, of course, we're going to wrap it around with our next visionary. Who is that? That is KB. Yes, that is Michelle Green. She is going to get us straight, not only in business, but also in personal, telling you how to do the personal, how to do the business side of building and scaling your business, and how to accrue wealth. And so this is an event that is unlike any other, that is history making, that you do not have to fake it till you make it. We're going to teach you how to make it, and make it without, you ain't got to be lying out here. Stop that line. Stop that line, acting like you got all these customers and clients, okay? No, ma'am, no, sir. You will, because we're going to give you what you need. No fluff, no chaser, no gatekeeping. We are here to help you, because we understand in the kingdom, it's nothing but abundance. And so we're not worried about us teaching you and you're going to take from us, because baby, you can't take what God gave us. We're going to help you get what you're supposed to get. All right. And so go ahead. We only have a few VIP tickets left. So go ahead and get that VIP ticket. For those of you who would like to be a vendor, go ahead and get your vendor tickets. I think we have about 7 more tables left for ones, but you will have to check with us now, because we do not want any duplications of the same type of business. Okay. So go ahead on to Eventbrite and look for the Media and Wealth Summit so you can go ahead and get them tickets, because I don't want to hear it talking about you can you squeeze me in. Hey, we got to follow the rules of the land. The fire marshal say only so many people can be up in that building, and we're going to follow the rules. So go ahead and get your ticket. Now, I think you got all this time. We are 90 days out, so we don't have all that time. Get your ticket. And for those of you, so we got the vendors, we got sponsors, for those of you who might want to be a sponsor, and we also have the tickets and stuff like that. So go ahead and get it. You'll be able to meet yours truly.
Hey!
You'll be able to meet Michelle, and you'll be able to go and meet Coach Cornell in person. Right there. You'll be able to get this whole experience in person, okay? You think you're having fun with us, and we're raw, and we're relevant, and we're sharing all this information with you online, but baby, when we're in person, it's a whole different energy. So you come on in the room so you can meet us. Meet us in the room. We're gonna have you're gonna see all the coaches. You're gonna see many of the podcasts that's on the network, and it's time for you to come on and join us. We super duper excited about everything that's going to be happening, including the giveaways, the food, the ambiance. Listen,
I was just about to say, you forgot to tell them that they're going to get fed and they're going to have some good eating, honey. We just had a meeting behind the scenes for the Media and Wealth Summit. And I'm trying to tell you, we are so super pumped. We are ready to go into this thing and have our lives be changed. But we're going to eat. We're going to have a couple of dances. We're going to have some music.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun too.
We're going to have all kinds of, yes, we're going to be getting down. You hear me? I know that might be an old term, but hey, it is what it is. Y'all know what I mean.
I think we're going to have a lot more millionaires in South Carolina before when this thing is over.
Hey. Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. So you don't have your ticket. Yes, if you ain't got your ticket, go to Eventbrite right now and make sure that you get your ticket, and then come back to this video and put it down below so we will know that you got your ticket so we can celebrate with you. Because I'm trying to tell you, hey, it is going to be like no other. We're not going to be able to explain it all, y'all. I'm trying to tell you, if you thinking about being somebody, if you already are somebody, you need to be in the room. Be in the room on October the 11th, 11 to 6, River Center at Saluda Shows. I'm trying to tell you, it's going to be on and popping like no other. Y'all will not regret getting your tickets today. All right. So that's all we have for tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you click that subscribe button of the KB.Michelle Green YouTube channel, or go to us because we are powered by the CTR Media Network, our very own Dr. Tina J. Ramsey right here. And make sure that you watch us on the app, the CTR Media app. We are on Roku TV, Amazon Prime TV. We're everywhere. Just make sure that you connect with us wherever we are, because we are here to help you get to the top. So until next Wednesday from 9:30 until we get finished, we will see you guys a little later. And don't forget, set your notifications as well. All right, bye-bye.